that we want to support and get off the ground, and obviously a key part of the overall film and television ecosystem in Alberta. And the third grant program is the post-production visual effects and digital animation grant that provides a grant offsetting some of the labor costs associated with the post-production work that's done in the province. So that's the monetary or financial support that my area provides. Not in my area, but certainly the major funding support for larger film and television projects in Alberta is the film and television tax credit. It's been in the news quite a bit lately. We've made some significant changes to that tax credit in the last few months, specifically adding some more money to the overall budget, as well as eliminating the per project cap, which has allowed us to compete for some of the major projects that you see in Alberta today, and is a significant driver of the growth and our busiest season ever. That tax credit is run through the Ministry of Jobs, Economy and Innovation. But we have a really close relation with that group. Obviously, we need to be sort of hand in glove working with them on the credit when we're marketing and advertising the province, and then keeping them happy when they get here. So finally, I think it speaks to our relationship with JEI. We have a close relationship with multiple colleagues across the government and in the industry, as you see here, to support the development of film-friendly policies on behalf of the government of Alberta. So recent changes to the tax credit are examples of that. And I think this webinar is another example where we're working closely with the unions and guilds to address opportunities around crew development and growth as we meet the challenge of this growing sector. Yeah, I'll leave it at that and look forward to the Q&A. Thanks, Michelle.
Thank you, Mark. This new Zoom stuff, right? If you have any questions, please go to the corner and put your questions down there, and we will continue on. So next up on the list today is our Vice President of Creative Industries, Film Commissioner with the Calgary Economic Development, Luke Azevedo. Step up.
Thanks, Michelle. And thanks, Mark, for leading us into this. It's looking like it's going to be a great year, and there's been lots of attention paid to film and television, as well as the creative industries as a whole in this province, which I think for the first time in recent history, we are being identified as a priority sector, not only at the provincial level, but also at the municipal level with our partners at the City of Calgary. The incentive change has given confidence to the marketplace to invest in film and television. This has resulted in over 452,000 square feet of warehouse and office space being converted to stage, construction, wardrobe, hair, makeup, and storage areas for long-term film and television use. This is unprecedented in the history of our environment here and of our sector. Along with the Calgary Film Centre, we are now above 500,000 square feet of long-term space available for film and television production, which is a huge change and garners much confidence across the sector from those looking at locations to produce film and television. The investment in this infrastructure has been made by William F. White with their Fortress and Fortress Plus facilities, the Simonelli family's MCOR Developments with Rocky Mountain Film Studios, North and South campuses, Manhattan Beach Studios, known as MBS, with the location converted in the Southeast. And MBS has also opened a rental facility office in Calgary. These facilities have helped create a film and television hub around the Calgary Film Centre. And stay tuned, because there's more to come. The post-secondaries have also taken note and have increased their offerings to accommodate the growing need for training for students in all of the creative industries. Our partners at SAIT, the University of Calgary, Mount Royal University, Bow Valley College, the University of Lethbridge Calgary campus, University of Art and Design, the Banff Center, and Red Deer College. Private sector investment has increased, and the studios and streaming services are excited about the possibilities in this province. And we're hosting many of them in Alberta as we speak. The City of Calgary has also recognized the need to enhance the support for the sector. And they've been great partners for us. And in the process, with the Film Commission team of updating the film-friendly program to ensure we are able to support the existing and increasing production levels that are coming to us. I would also like to touch base a little bit on the local producer and post-production industries and community. That we need to continue to support and advocate for these portions of our sector as we grow this sector long-term and create that sustainability that's going to see the sector grow in the manner that we've been hoping for and advocating for many, many years. We want to be able to continue to tell our Alberta stories as we continue to grow our foreign presence here in the province. And we want to ensure that all of us here, as we work together, continue to put a concentrated effort into that area. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you, Luke. That was a lot of really good information. Next, we want to ask Samantha Quantz to come up to the mic, and she is the locations officer for the Edmonton Screen Industries. Samantha.
Hello, everyone. So glad to be here today. It's super exciting what's happening in the industry right now, and Edmonton is just bursting with so much potential. So really glad to be a part of this conversation. Edmonton Screen Industries Office, we support the screen industry sector in the Edmonton Metro region, and that includes both audiovisual productions such as film and television, but also the interactive digital media side, so like video games and virtual augmented reality, that side as well. So we're very focused on the community, and we also offer workshops and professional development opportunities. We have industry grants for local companies, and we advocate for the industry. So that helps both our local content creators as well as helping to create capacity for bringing in more service production. So we know we definitely want to focus on both of those areas. So we also have an investment fund. If you haven't heard about it, the Edmonton Screen Media Fund, there's more information on our website about that. And we also have location incentives. Edmonton area has some great locations, and the city is really film friendly. We've been working this past year to build up our locations library, and we're seeing a lot more interest in the region, which is super exciting. We're partnering with our local unions and guilds to offer in-demand industry training opportunities. We recently had a set etiquette course, which we had in a few years, and we launched 2 classes this month. It sold out in 4 hours. So we're working to set up more because it's in demand. And we have a bunch more workshops that we're working on as well. So keep tuned, we've got more coming. How you can get involved, follow us on social media. That's the best way to stay tuned for updates and find out about these training opportunities. And we'll have more workshops coming. There's actually a grant intake open now. So if you are a local company to Edmonton, there's an industry supports grant. The deadline is April 30th, so it's coming up fast. And I'll post information about that in the chat so you can take a look. It's also available on our website under funding. So just really looking forward to exciting stuff happening this year. We're building up our marketing materials. We're collaborating with all of our groups here just to build up the Alberta presence and to see more people working in the province. So thanks so much, everybody.
Thank you so much, Samantha. I just want to say quickly to all the panelists, or to all the people that are watching right now, first of all, thank you for joining us today for all this, but also hold your questions until every panelist has had a moment to talk. So just write them down, and then we'll get to a place where we can ask, or where you can ask all your questions to the panelists. So next up, we want to ask Damien Petty, who is the president of IATSE Local 212 and International Vice President. Damien Petty.
Thank you, Michelle. As Michelle mentioned, we represent 22 categories working in motion picture in Alberta. Special shout out, I think some of our board members are on this call. Alex Free and Gail Kennedy, I've seen, are in the room. I have a total of 6 minutes, so here goes. First of all, I believe a 5-year strategic plan needs to be developed, and the group that's before you now has been meeting regularly, and we've been coming up with constructive ways to address the imminent crunch that's upon us. The good news is there's a lot of good things going on that are helping us all get there. One of the things our organization is doing is pursuing term agreements with the major studios and streamers. I can't discuss that in depth at this point because negotiations are underway, but I hope to have some good news on that front very soon. Sorry for my voice. Last week at this very moment, I was having my appendix removed, and they put a thing down your throat, and so I'm still getting my voice back. Post-pandemic training. Post-pandemic training will be very important. What we've learned is there's a lot of online training going on, and people have had to be resourceful. Courses like grip and electric have moved to online, and the set etiquette course has been robust. We've had nearly 200 people in March and April go through that, and we continue to drive people through the set etiquette and deliver training to them once they've done that. Our primary sources of crew are existing training facilities. They are SAIT, Red Deer College, University of Calgary, University of Lethbridge, Alberta College of Art and Design, and Bow Valley College. I've had dialogue with each of these organizations since January, and they are actually willing to change their curriculum to meet our needs. We've established reserve lists with the boilermakers and carpenters in Alberta. The immediate demand right now is for carpenters, painters, scenic and industrial, as well as riggers and greens people. So we are actively recruiting people who already have those skill sets, and that's going very well. The Last of Us will require over 150 carpenters and painters. So we're well on our way to being able to service that. There are growing pains and there are crews that are splitting up and moving. It's created some stress, but by and large, we're trying to address the demand. So with those reserve lists, I will say the AMPTP protocols for COVID, they are what's keeping this industry going. We are seeing that spread is not happening in our workplaces. It certainly is arriving at our workplaces and is successfully being isolated and quarantined. And if it weren't for regular weekly testing and sick pay, I think we would have had spread in a workplace by now. Those protocols are working great, and we expect them to continue. I do want to say that we have some areas in Alberta that we're very weak, and we need to work with all of our partners on, and that should be part of a 5-year plan. Those areas are safety, respectful workplace strategies, diversity, and green sets. We've made progress. I know everyone's quick to say how amazing the progress has been, but we're nowhere near where we need to be. And I won't go into all the detail of each of those categories, but the studios want to see us succeed, and we want to succeed, and we want to pick up that ball and develop a 5-year plan that includes safety, respectful workplace strategies, diversity, and green sets. And other jurisdictions are well ahead of us in these areas. In some cases, we're ahead of them, but this will create, we have a need to cooperate. And I think we need a province-wide inclusive association. When we were lobbying, we had a thing called ASIAC, and that had worked well. Everyone in our whole industry had a voice at that table. I think that committee can reconvene. It can become something else, but we absolutely need something that's the Alberta Association, that everyone's welcome, and issues like safety and diversity and green sets and all of that can be worked through committees that go pan-industry, the entire industry at the table. And it probably should have an annual AGM as well. So I think that's the next piece. That's phase 2, if you will. And I've probably used up my time, so I have to go, but I will answer any questions at the end. Thank you.
Thank you, Damien. Those are some good words, and really got optimistic to hear that things are changing in Alberta. Next, we have Terry Sims, who's the president of IATSE Local 210.
Hi there. Sorry about that. Local 210 has been around since 1911. We represent stage and motion picture technicians. Our members work behind the scenes and events at Rogers, concerts, Citadel, Fringe, Jubilee Auditorium, Winspear, Leduc, and movies and TV shows. So we're a smaller local than Calgary. We have approximately 370 members, and we have a great number of really good technicians. And we've been working with this Edmonton Screen, and what we've been doing there is getting set up to do workshops. Our film VP did two set etiquette and protocol courses, and as Samantha said earlier, that it was filled. They were both filled within 4 hours. So now what we're looking to do is recruit more technicians and get some training on them, and so that we can help Calgary, or if some of the fall off of the shows come to Edmonton. That's about all I've got to say at this point. Rather short and sweet.
Thank you, Terry. Okay, next on the deck, we have representing the International Cinematographers Guild, Local 669 in Prairie's Business Agent, Rob Rowan.
Hi there, and hopefully everybody can hear me. My title is a mouthful, and I appreciate you working on it. I'd like to welcome all the attendees and all the panelists. ICG is very proud to be part of the Alberta community. We're a Western Canada local, but we are a strong presence here. We cover 23 positions within the camera local on set. All of them are at our website. I will post a link. We also have Kat Yee with us, who will answer a lot of your training questions, because Kat runs a lot of that for us, and she is amazing. It's a very hands-on, very intensive program, joining the Camera Union. We have a training setup that we work across the country, but we are looking to adapt as well with Alberta and grow in non-traditional ways here. So please always feel free to reach out. We are a strong community. It is an amazing year for us to shine and all of us to work together. Once again, we will put up our work site. Our website, pardon me. We are looking at growing both local shows and offshore shows. So there are many different spots for everybody within us. So please feel free to reach out. Please feel free to grow with our community. And again, I just want to thank everybody that's here, all the panelists and all the attendees who've come to see, because there are a lot of great opportunities for us. And let's do it the right way, and let's do it together. And that's it for me for now, but please reach out to both Kat and I, and Kat has put up the website. Thank you all.
Thank you, Rob. And I just got to say, this is amazing to have all of these leaders together on one Zoom. So what a treat to listen to everybody's words. Next up, we want to pull out from the offices downtown Calgary, Tina Alford, who is the branch representative for ACTRA. Tina.
Oh my God, honestly, it's like I've never used Zoom before. Anyway, sorry about that. Thanks, Michelle. Thanks to everybody for being here today on a Saturday afternoon. So yes, I'm the branch rep for ACTRA Alberta. ACTRA stands for the Alliance of Canadian Cinema, Television, and Radio Artists. So ACTRA is a national union. Currently, we have just over 27,000 members across the country. And here in Alberta, we have, as of yesterday, we have 1,022 members. So our members are made up of actors, recording artists, announcers, stunt coordinators, stunt performers, dancers, puppeteers, choreographers, singers, and background performers. And our principal role within the screen industry is to negotiate, administer, and enforce collective agreements to provide performers with equitable compensation, as well as safe and reasonable working conditions. So like everybody else and all the other panelists here today, we're quite excited about the work opportunities coming our way this year. A lot of large studio shows, which is fantastic. But ACTRA as well is also really focusing and making sure that the local creatives and our local industry doesn't get left behind, and that ACTRA is still working with those productions to ensure that there's great job opportunities for our performers, from all the way down to, you know, somebody who had $5,000 AFA grant, where mom's making lunch, all the way up to the larger studio shows. And in all those cases, we make sure that the members have a safe set to work on through safe COVID protocols, and that they're compensated properly. And I just wanted to say too, it's nice, as Michelle mentioned, to have all of us in this group today, because we have done a lot of work together recently. And then of course, over the years, we've worked quite closely together on lobbying. And I do want to echo what Damien said, is that, you know, as a group and as an industry, we still have a lot of work to do. But I'm feeling confident, even though we're like all crazy busy right now, that we will make that a priority moving forward. And the other thing too with ACTRA, I'll just put our website up there. We just want to promote our website.
Gina, you're muted.
Sorry. Okay, so about our website. So we've got a ton of great information on there for members and non-members, how to find a talent agent, how to determine if you know, if you're replying to an ad that's on Facebook or on Kijiji about giving you performance opportunities or working on different shows, how to determine if that's a scam or if it's legit. Plus, there's self-tape information on there on how to create a great self-tape, and also what's shooting, so you always know what is going on across the province. So anyway, that's me, Tina. Thank you very much, and I look forward to taking questions at the end.
Thank you so much, Tina. I know you and I have had many conversations about also how do we get more people into this union who are people of color and Indigenous people. So thank you for opening that door up, and let's hope we can encourage more people to join this union. So next up is the wonderful Robert Hilton, who's the business representative for the Directors Guild of Canada, Alberta District Council. Go ahead, Robert.
Oh, thank you, Michelle. Good day, everyone. This is great to see everyone together. This is such a strong part of the amount of business that we are seeing here in the province, bringing all these organizations together and creating a future Alberta for us. We are all, you know, we all want the same goal. We want this this intensity of projects to remain here and build so that Alberta becomes a place where you don't build your knowledge and then move off to another jurisdiction, right? Where there is enough production going on that you can make a living of it. And we find that extremely exciting at the Guild. We've been opening up discussions with regarding training with organizations, post-secondary organizations in Alberta. One such, the University of Lethbridge, where we are discussing with them how we can utilize their tools to be able to present both courses for our membership to upgrade, but also courses that offer an opportunity, bridge courses for people coming out of industries in Alberta, such as oil and gas, that have seen a downfall. On top of that, the next thing that is really important to us is diversity and equity within our organization. And we've opened up discussions with both studios and networks regarding programs that they would like to bring to Alberta here. I'm extremely excited about that, and I know that everyone else sitting right now on the panel is working very strongly towards that. Other than that, COVID safety is paramount for all of us. We need to be cognizant of this. The reason we are working is that our industry has some of the most strong guidelines and protocols, and that keeps our production environment safe to for our members to work in. That is pretty well it from my end. I'm really excited about the future, and as I said, it is great to see everyone on this panel and the work that has been happening amongst all of us.
Thank you so much, Rob, for those good and encouraging words. 35 years I've been a member of ACTRA, and I am so excited to see all the developments that are coming to Alberta right now, and the future of planning for diversity and including other people's stories. This is an exciting time. So we have one more panelist, and then we're going to open the door to questions. So begin to get your questions that you want to ask these panelists. And right now I'm going to introduce Mike Dunphy, who is the business agent for the Teamsters Local 362.
Perfect. Thank you, Michelle, and thank you for everybody taking the time out of their day to join us here. It's not very nice outside down here in Calgary, so I don't blame you for staying at home. And thank you to the panelists that worked so hard in the last few days to get this up and running for us today. And it was done in pretty short notice. Like Michelle said, my name is Mike Dunphy. I'm the business agent for Teamsters Local 362 in Calgary. In the motion picture industry, we represent the transportation, the wrangling, and the catering departments. We have approximately 236 members and 86-ish permits out of the local that we provide for this industry. However, we're not just a film local. We have about 6,000 members in total, over about 100 different collective agreements. In this unprecedented time, I've only been around for about 3.5, going on 4 years, but I can definitely see the uptake in the industry here. We are developing a Teamster specific orientation package for our new members and permits to go out with. Definitely see a need for training and making sure that everybody knows what they're doing when they get out there. With how busy it is going on, we definitely see an uptake in everything. We have seen various daily, I get applications for people joining this industry. Some of them I forward on to IATSE because they're in their jurisdiction. But it has been pretty busy down this way. With the COVID protocols, I commend all the members and the production staff on the sets on a daily basis to keep our members safe. And all the protocols that they've created. And I've had the ability to share some of your protocols with some of the other jurisdictions that I deal with outside of the film industry because the protocols and standards here are so high within this industry. So thank you to all the members that keep us safe and keep this industry going on a day-to-day basis. Diversity inclusion is definitely on our mind. Our union was founded on those principles. We look to increasing the diversity in our local and in this industry specifically. We look forward to working with all the other locals and everybody else here on the panelists and the productions coming into town to creating a hub here and creating a long-term hub for long-term jobs. And I think everybody here is like-minded, and I look forward to working with everybody. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Mike. We are going to open up the floor now. So if you have questions, I'm going to start with the first question that's on the board, and I'm just going to throw it out there, and whoever wants to answer it. Who is the person leading the Alberta Tax Credit Application Department at JEI? I have huge concerns over how long applications are currently taking to get reviewed and approved prior to going to camera. Did anyone want to answer that?
Yeah, I'll jump on that one. So thanks, Kareen, for the question. Yeah, so definitely some growing pains as the team at JEI gets the film and television tax credit up and running. I know they're still working through their process. Actually, we've been in really close contact with them as recently as the last couple of weeks, and my team's actually doing some resource sharing with the team over there to support them. The team over at JEI has not just the film and television tax credit under their purview. They're dealing with the small and medium enterprise business grants, and you probably just saw that the province announced another $300 million program. So they're getting hit from multiple fronts, and they got to work through it. And so we're going to help. So Kareen, if you have a specific project, reach out to me directly, and I can follow up for you. But I think you're going to see some efficiencies gained as soon as the next couple of weeks in terms of moving applications through that for ultimate decision and issuing of the credit. So I guess it's a two-part explanation. One, they're pretty new. They're learning how to process. B, an increase in volume in the tax credit applications has contributed. And C, the launching of a couple new economic development and support programs in response to COVID has created a bit of a perfect storm in terms of being able to process those in the speed we might like. But we have strategies in place to deal with all of those. And like I said, I think you'll see some improvements in the coming weeks. But Kareen, you and I can follow up offline on that.
Thank you. This next question is going out to Robert, and I see that he's typing an answer, but I'm just going to read it out loud quick. Do these tax credits include, oh shoot, where did it go? Okay, it disappeared. Okay.
It just moved to the answered panel there. If you click the tab there, Michelle.
Answered? Okay, great. Okay, so the next one is okay, so what about the one to Tina? Was that answered also? Tina, I'd also love to know if there's any incentives in works for Alberta actors to possibly get roles that are larger than background and one-liners on the bigger productions.
Well, with the Alberta Film and Television Tax Credit, there's definitely, because baked into the credit, they incentivize productions to hire Albertans. There's nothing specific about performers. And I guess, like the DGC, an actor member is an actor member across the country. So when an actor member from Alberta or wherever is Toronto, Vancouver is auditioning for a role, they're competing, with potentially thousands of people for that particular role. So it's a competitive game, but there is an advantage to having, 4 Alberta performers to get the roles here. We just have to have the right kind of projects where there's a decent amount of roles for people to have. So not just stunt-based and super action movies tend to not have a lot of roles for performers.
Okay. It says here, thanks for the question. So Rob, you want to answer this question live, right?
Yeah, thanks, Michelle.
Okay.
So Taya, I understand your question here. Like ACTRA, the Guild gives you the opportunity to work across Canada as a member, but we are experiencing right now in Alberta such a large load of production that the amount of members that we have right now, we cannot fulfill the demand. So we look forward to, people outside of the province coming in to pick up the slack at this moment. We utilize those people as they come in, and it's usually more senior people within the organization that are doing this, that when they come in, they need to do a mentor ship, and being able to put some of our junior members alongside with these people, it gives the opportunity for our Alberta-based members to get training from very experienced people across the country. To answer your question about BC, that has to do with the BC incentive. Their program is based around a labor tax credit. Ours is an all spend, which for Alberta, that is, from my opinion, is one of the most strongest forms of tax credit that we can have. It gives the opportunity to the producers to not only get to claim on labor, but they can, for example, if people are coming in, there is an opportunity to claim on if they have to put those people up, right? Which is a benefit to Alberta, where they are renting hotel rooms, renting cars, and that becomes part of what they can claim against their tax incentive. So I look at it as whether people are coming in from out of province or they're here. I mean, producers are always going to look at the best and most cost-efficient way for them to do their show. So they'll look first to our membership within the province before looking outside. I hope that answered your question.
Okay, our next question is from Christian Zaretsky. I am an Edmonton-based rigger looking to get involved in The Last of Us. What is the best way to get connected? Does anyone want to take that?
Hello, Christian, we need riggers. Fill out your sister status. I'll post a link to the website. You just have to make sure your sister status is current. I assure you, we have work for you. We've set up reserve lists with the broiler makers and others. There is a high need for riggers currently to fit those sound stages up. So there's the link to our website. There's a thing called sister status. It's right on the bottom left-hand corner. Go there, click that. We'll hook you up.
Great. Oh, go ahead, Tina.
Well, and I just wanted to say, Christian, if you're interested in doing rigging people and doing stunt rigging, you can shoot me an email and I can get you in touch with the stunt coordinators and some of the key stunt riggers that are working on some of the larger shows to see if you can be part of the team. I'll put my email address in there as well in the chat.
Okay, are there any programs or resources for people of color that are looking to join the industry? Who wants to take that one on? Is there any special programs? I know that with ACTRA, that's something I do know about, is that, Tina, you do bring in Indigenous people to do set etiquette, how to make your way around. There's stuff like that available.
Yep, we do have, a diversity committee that we work with, but I guess that's primarily focused on our members. I know that there's another group called Creatives Empowered, and I can put their website on there as well, that are working with BIPOC members across Western Canada, but the primary founders are based here in Alberta. But anyway, I can put their website up. It's a relatively new not-for-profit, but they're working on different initiatives and they partnered with Ampia to talk about doing like lunch and learns over the last couple months. So that's kind of top of mind for me right now. And the founders and the people that sit on the board are absolutely fantastic individuals. So great people to get connected with for sure.
Okay, great. Here's another one for you, Tina. For any members of ACTRA who seek to change streams in the industry, given the various opportunities behind the camera, can the DGC, Teamsters, and IATSE offer a streamlined process for our members who already have extensive set experience?
I think I'll toss that over to the technical peeps on the Zoom right now.
Maybe I'll jump in. I don't see anyone elbowing me out of the way. So definitely the people who are already in the industry are the ones who are used to some of the realities of the long hours and how it works. We have actually had several ACTRA members reach out and ask about which departments need people and how they can train. Sometimes it's a day course that they need. But we have someone in our office. We have a full-time education coordinator, Tricia Weeks. I don't think she's on this call. She may actually be filling calls as we speak. But I also wanted to just quickly say about the diversity piece. We have new diversity language in our contracts with CBS and with Disney. Disney in particular is looking for First Nations representation on crew. So we're working with numerous people on that. It's a longer discussion, but I just thought I'd throw that in there. But for the ACTRA members, they can reach out and have conversations with us. We do tend to, I don't want to say there's a back door, but if people want to consult, we'll consult and we'll help them find a place. Sometimes they come in as a laborer because that's what's in demand. And sometimes they take a course and we steer them in the right direction. But there's not one size fits all for everybody at this point. We're working on that piece.
And I'll just add too, for any ACTRA members out there, our Garrick Winston scholarship that we give out, we've allocated a significant amount of money over the years. In the guidelines in the scholarship too, also state that if you're an ACTRA member and you want to transition into another side of the industry, another part of the industry, that you can get scholarship money to do that as well. So there is an opportunity there to help cover the costs.
Great, thank you, Tina. Oh, did you want to say something, Mike?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that with ACTRA members or any other members in the film local looking to join the Teamsters, it's a refreshing to see resumes with film experience and not having to explain the long hours, the late night moves and stuff like that. So not that there's a back door, but there's potentially always an avenue for maybe the top of the pile type thing for people that are already in the industry that already have the knowledge, right? So that's always an asset that I find.
Okay. Oh, go ahead, Kat.
Yeah, just wanted to chime in on the 669 side of things. We've always welcomed diversity and inclusion at 669 already, but we obviously want to expand our outreach and actively doing that and inform communities that we haven't previously perhaps reached out a hand to before and making that more active. But I just also wanted to encourage people to be aware of our camera trainee program, which is one of our training options, and that we always welcome applications from anyone who's seeking a career in the camera department. It does specifically only train people with the focus to be a camera assistant. But if you're curious about it, I know our time's kind of limited here. I'm going to post a link in the chat, which provides a little bit of an outline. And that's one of the many ways to get into 669. There's the trainee program or direct application. And it's always very exciting to get applications for the training program. I get to meet a lot of the people, and I definitely, on my side, have noticed that there's been a huge interest and applications from the BIPOC community too. So I'll put that in the chat.
I just
Oh,
gotta say,
sorry. And also there's studio initiatives, as you were saying. So that's also on our radar as well. And we're very aware of that. Sorry, go ahead, Michelle.
I was just gonna say, my daughter took the 669 camera assistant training program, and it was great for her as a young Cree girl. So I want to, I want to encourage anyone watching we need to get more positions filled in this industry that are people of color. So please don't be shy, reach out to all of these people and ask questions. So our next question goes to Luke and Mark. Given the shortage of available Alberta crew for small productions, is it possible to have deemed Alberta labor if using someone that is from another province? Luke or Mark?
Yeah, so good question. I think we're referring to the provincial grant program, so I can take this one. So deeming is not something that's currently available in Alberta, and I think most of the folks on the call know what deeming is, but it's basically taking someone from out of province and deeming them as Albertan to fill a gap in production. So deeming is not something that is available right now. I will say we're looking at a variety of opportunities to build crew depth. Any sort of deeming provision that we would look at would have to be in agreement with this group. Like there would have to be a benefit to the industry and growth in Alberta for us to consider deeming. And that's a bit of a longer term change that we're discussing. So currently not available. So I think, all of the unions and guilds have talked about the things they're doing to build their depth and overall crew depth so that deeming isn't something that we need in Alberta. The other thing I'll say is obviously in comparison to a labor only credit, the all spend nature of the credit can potentially offset some of those costs related to needing to fill gaps. But I'm in the union and guild call right now, and I think if you have concerns about filling and meeting your crew depth challenges, make sure you've exhausted the resources around this table. These folks are in the best position to tell you, if there is depth or untapped pockets of talent that you can use to meet your needs. So two things: deeming is not available right now, but we're looking at all options to build crew depth and development. Two, make sure you're reaching out to the folks on this call to make sure that you've exhausted all resources for Alberta talent, because I do think there's lots out there, even with the rush we're going on right now.
Luke, did you want to speak into that too?
I think Mark hit it. I think that's where we're at. We're analyzing and working with our unions and guilds to try to determine the best route forward. And this will be a long-term commitment to how we grow and sustain the industry. So lots of opportunities out there, and the amount of training and development that's happening within our province right now is unprecedented as far as the numbers go. And our unions and guilds will continue to move this forward in a way that's meaningful, and will have an outcome that's going to allow us to have that crew base that's necessary as we're growing the rest of the industry. We have to ensure that the areas all grow together so that we can create an environment that's going to allow us to support the amount of work that's coming here. So our incentives, we're in a great place now. We're globally competitive. Our crew base, we have some of the best crew and talent in front and behind the cameras that you're going to find anywhere, and the infrastructure is growing at the same time. So to be sustainable, we've got to do those things at the same time with the overarching commitment to safety, and that will keep us growing and keep attracting people into the area.
Thank you, Luke. Okay, next up is, thank you for the great information here from all aspects of the industry. My question is the Alberta Made Producers Grant over-subsidized at the moment? And do commercially viable productions under 500K qualify?
Yeah, that one's for me. So Alberta Made Production Grant is the basis of the question. So it's a good one. So we have a finite budget for the Alberta Made Production Grant, and we have 2 intakes a year, one in January and one in July. it is oversubscribed, meaning that not everyone who applies will be awarded a grant because of the nature of the finite budget. That being said, there is room to apply in the July intake. We reserve budget for each intake. So if you have a commercially viable project, it's owned by Albertans, I would absolutely encourage you to apply in the July intake.
Great. Thank you so much, Mark. Currently, the next question is Catherine Penhale. Currently, while union shoots have been able to continue shooting as they should, they're doing amazing work to keep sets safe. The restrictions that came down on April the 6th have prevented small non-union shoots from obtaining exemptions regardless of COVID protocols, according to BizConnect and Alberta Health. I've been seeing many small shoots going ahead regardless, of course, not intentionally, I don't think, but I think it stems from a lack of understanding of the current restrictions. Has there been a dialogue with Alberta Health about this? And how can we support smaller shoots moving ahead? Or is there an alternative exemption process that shoots can go through? Who wants to take that?
Mark, do you want to start on this?
Sure. Got to be careful, right? About, like, I think we've talked about a lot about the safety of cast and crew on set and the phenomenal job this industry's done to meet those safety standards with the guidelines that we have in place. So because of our success, this is an industry that has been allowed to continue to operate when many others haven't. So those guidelines that we put out in June are still up there and for reference and still viable, and our sector can continue to go on as long as it continues to do so safely. So, you know, I don't know about the details about these smaller shoots. What I do know is any shoot needs to be done by a professional film and television production company, and it has to adhere to the highest possible safety standards that are written in those guidelines, with details available from any of the unions here, which often have more stringent safety protocols in place. So there's no exemption process in place. There's no loophole to get through if you don't qualify or you can't meet the safety standards outlined on the website. And if you can't meet those safety standards, let's hold off for a few weeks till we get through a safer place where we've reached that herd immunity or more vaccination piece, because we're almost there. We need to get to the other side of this thing. And you know, I think the clean record that the industry's had and that's allowed us to continue to work. We want to maintain that through the last few weeks of this thing. So we have to be super careful. So sum up, no exemption process in place. Refer to the guidelines and make sure you can adhere to the highest possible safety standards to mitigate the risk of COVID transmission on set.
And if Michelle, if I can for a minute as well, there has been a substantial amount of smaller productions that have been able to shoot with protocol in place. I think one of the things that you can do is to reach out to your local film commissions as well as you're trying to define where you need to shoot and how you need to activate. And I'm guaranteed that Samantha or our team here in Calgary would be happy to help you through the process to ensure that your safety protocols in place and that you have the capacity to access locations dependent on, you know, what accessibility actually is because of where we're at right now. But there have been shoots that have gone through that are smaller budget productions that have done it safely and had success with it.
Great, thank you for that question, Catherine. And we're going to move on to the next one now from Julie Cloutier. What sort of advice can be given to someone who is a permittee in Local 210, but is considering the possibility of moving to Calgary?
I'll take that one. Hi, Julie. Thanks for your question. The most important thing is that you get into our database. So I've posted the link to the website and it says apply to film. So you have to apply. If you need help, questions about set etiquette or anything, or I don't know what department you're applying to, but we can help you stick handle, and I I will send you a private message with somebody who can answer all your questions and help steer you in the direction that you hope to go. Not knowing what department you're from, I'm just going to give you a general answer.
Julie, maybe you can let us know which department you're looking at specifically. So now we're going to move on to Lisa Moreau. In regards to the supporting businesses that will be needed, is there a good contact to register hotels and other businesses so that they are on the list for incoming productions?
I can take that one from the Calgary region, at least. The Calgary Hotel Association is in direct contact with us consistently to ensure that they're up to date on what's happening in film and television and where the possibilities are. We've also been working with the association across Alberta in the rural areas and had many conversations in regards to what the possibilities are, where they can get linked in, whether it's on the individual websites for the film commissions or the provincial website, our Real Scout site that identifies availability and capacity for those that are searching out that way. And again, we also speak directly to it as we're being asked that we have the capacity that, and through the Hotel Association, that the members there are also identified.
For Edmonton, I'm working with Explore Edmonton. So that's specifically hotels and other venues. So we're doing workshops, how to be screen friendly. We're really developing those things. We also have our locations library. So we accept packages for that. And that's really awesome because then we can have those photos available and ready to go. So just reach out to us. I'll put my email in there because we want to get you included.
And that goes for businesses as well, being put up on the websites, on all three of the websites, and then us having the ability to direct people to those individual groups as the needs are arising and we're being asked.
Great, thank you. You know, considering we're in a pandemic, maybe it's the film industry that's going to save this province some incoming jobs and filling those hotels up. Next, we are going to go to Steve Glassman. Is there any thought as to why Edmonton is doing so poorly in the film business? Is there any thought as to how to rectify that? What do you guys think?
Great question, Steve. I get this all of the time. And I'm so excited because we're working on some really great stuff. And we're going to be chatting with you very soon to be a part of that. But we're working on our marketing materials. I think the biggest thing that happened is that there was a gap between where there was time where there was no action happening and there's no one representing and advocating for Edmonton. But we have that now. We're here, we're part of the conversation, we're part of the group, we're all working together, we're collaborating. We have some amazing talent still here. We have amazing talent that's spread all over the place that would love to come back. We have so many amazing locations and assets. So we're working very hard to get a pitch deck together as soon as we can and be marketing Edmonton actively to get service production here. We're also developing the crew base as well and working to develop these workshops because there's just so much work that has to be done to build our capacity. So it's not just about attracting them here, but being able to provide the services that they need. So we're really excited because we're working towards that right now.
Wonderful. So can anybody on this panel give the viewers an idea of how many productions are filming right now? That's my question, not in the box. Go ahead.
Hi, I can give a picture of that if people are willing. Okay, can you see? Are you looking at a chart? So this is the current crew demand. There's a few shows that, you know, that used to be on the chart. The Bachelorette was going to be in Jasper and that went away. But essentially here is the crew demand chart. We're looking at the months of May. So we see Guilty Party is going until May 28th. If you piece that together with Fraggle Rock here, that's wrapping at the end of May, you see a window emerge. So at the end of June, you have new projects coming in. So Heartland starts June 7th for their shooting. So they're in here. You can see other projects are wanting to come in. These guys, Billy the Kid is shooting June 21st. So June is where we kind of hit a bit of a bottleneck. the good news is that there's a good spread between when shows are wrapping and when shows are ramping up. And there's still some room in the fall for projects to come in. Typically, the growth that we can expect is about 20 to 25% of skilled crew. Unskilled crew is easy. There's thousands of unskilled crew people out there. It's the people with experience. We expect that one single project, The Last of Us, which shoots 12 months there. This is the big project for HBO. That will bring in many hundreds of it will raise the skill set of hundreds of people and give us the ability then to offshoot and have new assistants and department heads. This will take time though. Other jurisdictions that had massive breakthroughs on their incentive were sometimes vilified for their inability to supply. The reality is we will be able to grow at a rate of 25% maximum for skilled crew. These two here, Winona Earp and Black Summer season 3 and Winona 5, they're wild cards. They're somewhere. They might shoot. We don't have a lot of info. People always ask what's next on the rumor list. It's hard for me to even slot them into the rumor list because they don't have a time frame. It's not clear to us. Luke may have better info than I, but I watch this like a hawk because our ability to slot 5 and 6 crews effectively and to let producers know when the next window of opportunity is helps us. We can't have a gap for 3 months where there's only 2 things shooting. That's how it used to be in this province. I think Luke and others, everyone here can tell you, winter used to be slow. We didn't have sound stages, and then everyone would move to Vancouver. So now we have that extra capacity that we've created. We are a little strained at 6 crews. And HBO project is the size of 3 or 4 shows. So that's a monster. And, with 6 art directors, it's like you're shooting 6 movies. So we're doing our best, and this is what's going on. And I hope that clarifies. People always ask and want a better picture. And when we put too much info out, we're under attack from people. The media is always looking for their next story. And I know several of us on this call were sort of vilified for giving info to our members about what's coming. And how dare we release sensitive information to the studios? A person like me is always pressing to get the info out faster because we need to supply the crew. And I can't tell people to work on a contingency that there might be something. So they're always looking for us to declare what there actually is. So it's been a struggle. And that's my answer to your question.
Michelle?
Mhm.
Well, yeah, I just wanted to add that, so that's a really great chart that Damien had, but there's also, when it comes to ACTRA and some of the shows that we're signing, so, I mean, there's opportunities for performers in this province to work on video games, all the commercial production, and that includes, a Blue Cross commercial, for example, shooting next weekend, plus all the radio ads. And then I also know that we're working with 3 to 4 lower budget feature film projects that are ranging between $1 to $3 million that are still planning to go ahead between now and October. So there's lots of opportunity there.
Good point, Tina. And to Damien's point, we've daily we're taking calls from studios, from streamers, from independents in regards to availability here in Alberta. There is Mark and I have had conversations about, where the gaps are, how we're representing the area and ensuring that people know that we're busy, but that we still have opportunities to have conversation and determine where the gaps are and where we can fit other productions in. As the sector grows and our base grows across the board with infrastructure and crew, we'll be able to accommodate more, but we want to ensure sustainability and want to ensure the safety of the crew and that we're supporting local productions as well. So there's a lot of activity that's going on, and we see the crew base and how it's being divided up to accommodate the shows that are here. And to Damien's point, there's a variety of these shows that are quite large and are taking on a lot of people. So we're identifying as they're getting green lit. We're working with our friends in the unions and guilds to ensure that what we're representing the province to the world as, that we can accommodate what's being asked of us. So everybody working together to try to ensure we can grow the capacity, but in a way that's sustainable and safe.
Thank you, Luke. And there's another question for you, Luke. So, hello, everyone. Thank you for your time and all the fantastic information. This is for Luke. What are the websites you previously spoke of for adding businesses links to? Cheers, SJ.
The three areas that are the Film Commission links, where normally if productions are searching around, or foreign and local productions, this is where the information is. Alberta Film, the Calgary Economic Development, the Film Commission site, as well as the ESIO site. All of our unions and guilds have their sites as well that speak to industry capacity. So and then again, there's other, the Calgary Film Center. I'm sure William F. White, others that have the same thing on their websites that you can access. But the three main, I would suggest, would be the three Film Commission sites.
Great. So we're going to start winding it down. I want to take a moment here to just make sure, are there any other questions, first of all, coming from our viewers? If they are, please put them in, because we only have a few more minutes left. But in the meantime, I just want to take a moment here to, oh, look, we got one more question. Great. Taya Walter, did I see that right? The Last of Us is filming for 350 days. Do longer shows like that break the workload out in blocks? Who wants to answer that?
Yes and yes.
Yes. Multiple units as well, right? So,
yes.
And this is, if you include prep time, you're talking about 18 months. So this isn't a model that used to exist 5 years ago, but it is very much a new model. Some may have seen that Lord of the Rings is shooting in New Zealand a series, and that they would use a similar large model with multiple units and multiple art directors. So they do break it out into blocks, but this is each episode is like its own movie. If you carve out the budget, you're in the 10 million plus per episode. So this is a different model in a way to what we're used to.
Yeah, and to Damien's point, we when we're trying to facilitate it, we're looking at it from that perspective as well. Is that they're coming in blocks. We're trying to determine what their needs are, assess them, work with the city and the province to ensure that the access is there, and we're blocking it out in that same fashion to ensure that we can accommodate it as they go from episode to episode.
Wow. Okay. Well, it looks like I think we've gotten through all of our questions today. And I want to take a moment to thank all of you sitting here who've taken time from your day to give us so much good information for this province. I want to take time to say thank you to all of the viewers that are here in this audience. If you have any more questions, please feel free to contact your guilds or your unions here in Alberta. And it takes a community to build such a strong force that we have going on right now. So thank you to everybody who's here, and I wish you all a wonderful Saturday.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, attendees.
You.